Today I'd like to tell you about a book I've recently read and would love to recommend. It's called Codename Helene by Ariel Lawhon. I'm not quite sure if that's how you pronounce her surname. It's a fictional account of Special Operations Executive Agent Nancy Wake, and I've always had a fascination with SOE agents, female SOE agents that is, because they were doing a job that gave them equality with men, which was very unusual at the time, and often they were the ones giving the orders to the men. They were incredibly courageous. They knew that if they were arrested, they would be interrogated by the Gestapo, probably face torture and ultimately death. And they were making a monumental sacrifice for their country. They needed to have an excellent memory. They had to keep details of assignments, code names, passwords, all in the head. They couldn't write these things down. And obviously they had to speak French fluently, but as a native French speaker. And they had to act as though they were French. So they had to remember simple things like looking in the correct direction when they were crossing the road, because a little slip-up like that, by looking in the wrong direction, could lead to their arrest. Anyway, back to the formidable Nancy Wake. She was born in New Zealand in 1912, grew up in Australia and actually classed herself as Australian. And she died not so long ago in 2011, aged 98. She left Australia, travelled the world, ended up in London, took a journalism course and began working as a freelance journalist, European correspondent for Hearst Newspaper Corporation. And as a result, she was witness to some truly historic events. She attended the Berlin Olympics and saw Jesse Owens triumph. She witnessed terrible atrocities against Jewish shopkeepers in Vienna. And she attended one of Hitler's rallies in Berlin. And she was living and working in Paris as a journalist when she met her husband, Henri Fiocca. He was a wealthy businessman based in Marseille. They married in 1939, and shortly afterwards, Henri was called up to join the French military. In 1940, the Germans attacked France and breached the Maginot Line. And Nancy, who owned a disused ambulance and had been learning to drive in it, rather than sit at home, decided to get in the ambulance, travel north, and she ended up volunteering as an ambulance driver, rescuing refugees and servicemen who were injured in the course of the German invasion. However, when it became apparent that all was lost and France fell to the German occupation, she headed home to Marseille. And it was at this point that she became involved in resistance activity, helping Jews and British servicemen to escape over the Pyrenees into Spain. And in 1943, it was a journey she herself had to undertake. On arrival in London, she was recruited by SOE. And this book alternates between her life leading up to her recruitment by SOE and her assignment behind enemy lines when she was parachuted into the Auvergne region of France to work with the Maquis and prepare for D-Day landings. This is an excellent read, perfect for anyone who loves historical fiction, and especially fiction set during the war. Nancy comes across as a fearless, bold and courageous woman, and really she was quite remarkable. The book unfortunately isn't available on BorrowBox, but it will be in stock when the library reopens. Borrow it, it's well worth reading. Thank you.